Toon and his jackals are mongering a plot to abolish the Department of Education in the United States of America. I propose to address what sort of secret Department of Education they've been running. Texas School Book Department of Education, which is a pornography guild that ends with your television set being monitored for indemnity to fascist pornographers. I've never needed a defense in terms of right and wrong when it came to Leslie Katz. A good example. We went to Cucumber Falls. We were out in the woods miles away from anybody above falling water. As usual, she was buck naked, and I was administering to her with my tongue, like something out of Ovid. C was what they called me, C Ovid. And she fell asleep spread eagle as I lapped and lapped. And then I rested on her thigh. And when she woke up, I was crying because she couldn't understand why. She grabbed my head gently. I was in so much pain from what she and the Wattmakers had done to me with the neurotrauma. And of course, everyone at Carnegie Mellon University who kicked my ass knew that. They didn't take it that I was actually a threat to her. They took it that they didn't like me, that I was a wuss. And they taunted me a little bit. They had somebody named X Slur. But then Penis Gabriel got in the act, and he's a professional. He's a murderer. And he's a rape dramatist. Advocating for Nosferatu's gangs. We've all seen the 16, 15 year old cuties from Gaza who've disappeared into the clutches of 5 or 6 maniacal Israeli soldiers, never to be heard from again. And since they murder doctors by raping them in the ass, we know what they did to these girls. Penis has always advocated from David Jeffen for Nosferatu. He's the one with Patricia Fripp and Colin Powell who brought us the atrocity in Iraq. And he's vaguely associated with Lenin, so he's supposedly a peace dude at Amnesty International. What a laugh. And he and Pope Carl impinged on the persona's experience. They went tapping nerves to see what made it hurt most, what made it hurt. And they kept saying, you're not healing correctly. So they come on to me with somebody who I fell in love with and then tear her away, say, you're going to heal correctly this time, queer bait. Now, Mick Jagger landed in Tel Aviv to announce the Eno side, which is what's going on. Eno was well aware, and so was Roger Waters. A whole bunch of these sandbaggers went on the AIDS attack. So you have Gauze and the AIDS attack, play back to Dealey Plaza. Remember, Welcome to Rolling Stones with the bloody racing glove on Sgt. Pepper's. This is the reality of Lenin's Houdini. Lenin's Houdini always gives you the Tumblr system of, no, you must be loyal to Yoko Ono. No, you must be loyal to Yoko Ono. And why did they choose me? Because I was from a voice that could be heard off the northern coast of Japan at the end of World War II. My father was a radio room lieutenant. They followed me. I've seen the clips that show it. It's subtly encrypted in Japanese cinema. I found their super story and elements where they say, so Pittsburgh, which is where my father went to be what? An educator. And Toon came in with his special Department of Education and grabbed me by the hair, dragged me out of school, and put me into child trafficking. And they claim that I'm the one who needs to be forgiven. It's some sort of weird church idea that Inslee is in on. They made no secret. For them, education is sex education. And if you're going to get some early, it's going to be with one of their 12-year-old super plumps from the Carousel Club. And you're not going to get out of it. You're going to do it. You're going to do as you're told. And then they say, well, we set it up. It was entrapment. It was mandatory. It was coercive. We beat his brains in. We kicked his ass. But so what? Now we're going to start executing people who are here illegally. We're not going to have this Department of Education and housing program. And what's more, we're going to do one of these at climate change. Because we have everything. We're the last laugh of the human race. That's what Toon is plotting. He's getting away with it. Patty Murray is letting him do it. Sharon Tamika Santos is letting him do it. Elizabeth Warren is letting him do it because he has Mick Jagger on his side. So, just. Now, somebody who is acutely sensitive to what has happened, because there are people watching and laughing. Compare Def Jeannie to Giganti. I haven't been around her for 25 years. She was my best friend. We were a beautiful couple. And Camille Claudel left Giganti to be ruined by Rodin, so it's very apt. I would have been very well loved by Jeannie, and I showed Jeannie one of the reasons why I was on a secret military targeting system, where I was an object of a secret illegal cult. And it was the Zuckerman Midori Goto image at National Record Mart. She went cute, when she saw Goto. What did I want to do? Well, during the Vietnam War, there was a resistance push. It was a little different from the one that's going on in campuses with Gaza. The push was to love each other more. It was put together by the CIA, the Carousel Club, people who got rid of the suit and tie gentlemen like Martin Luther King and JFK. But they were in the crosshairs of hatred for playboys. It was, since they're vulnerable to sexual innuendo, let's push them into it by giving them opportunities. That's Toon's expertise. So the idea was that they already knew, like Peter Gabriel said that when he met Jill, his first wife, it was very simple. She was the prettiest girl in the room. He has 2 picks on his nose, right? So he knows that the second virgin is going to be Midori Goto. It's very simple. She's the East-West symbol. But queer bait is indemnified to John Lennon, so she trots off with George Bush and appears in 1994 on the cover of Texas Queer. So they got Bush queerdom all aligned with the rejection of queer bait over Leslie Katz and so forth. So they anticipated that idea. Robert Anton Wilson put it thusly. He appears in the 64 edition, the first issue of Humanist, which has Kennedy in a crosshair. And he says, I was ready for an idea like that when he was talking about Na and Schrodinger's cat. They were ready for an idea like that. They used the dominatrix to work with and justify and prosecute and push the AIDS extermination genocide that built momentum to use Seattle's Dizzy Lizzy mentality through museum theft, working with Shulman and Penis Gabriel and Toon. For the Gaza atrocity, Mick Jagger's been back there. Dealey Plaza, Welcome the Rolling Stones. Carousel Club, remember Benefit of Mr. K, and Lassie threw a hog set of real fire, zapped him right between the eyes, zap, all the children sang. Does that sound like morning? There's Jagger, hop skipping. He gutturals, he sings like Hitler. And I was sincere. I mean, I didn't come on, I don't come on the girls, they come on to me. That's why I've been alone for 30 years, because they were finished with the program. They'd set me up, but I was sincere. When I met Midori Goto, I just assumed she knew because I believed she knew. And I presented myself. And I gave her a book of sign language. And I wrote her maybe one letter, and then they tore my heart out. They actually had a ripcord go through my heart. And they put me into flutter, and they castrated me. And this is Midori Goto's revenge. She couldn't care less. They couldn't care less about the people who were rendered the home girls, the homies who were endangered and made invulnerable by Lenin's idea of abolishing the Department of Education. Toon is waters. We don't need no education. It's all thought control. It's not thought control. It's learning about indexes and bibliography. It's preserving and appreciating the past. It's standing up to Godzilla. It's looking with love and admiration on what your grandparents have achieved, and with flexibility and sensitivity towards things that they have not achieved. And it's an effort to preserve our planet from the odious statecraft of the rock machine built by British Petroleum.